This week on Fade to Obsidian, we are discussing chapters 1 to 5 of Lightbringer. We recommend you've read to this point in the series before listening. We'll also be discussing violence and using strong language. Your discretion is advised. Enjoy.
Welcome everybody to Fade to Obsidian. We are back with our scheduled programming after August and September. We had all our lovely Legend Legion interviews and a few other things, but we are back with Lightbringer! Woo!
Fuck yeah!
I am Skipper, joined as always by Crescent, and this week we are joined by Prepper. Welcome, Prepper.
Thank you. Super excited to be on.
We're very excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us for chapters 1 to 5 of Lightbringer. Jumping right into the book with us there. But before we start, who are you? Why are you Prepper? And what are you drinking tonight?
I am sadly drinking water tonight.
Water is great.
I know.
Would approve.
You know, Hydro would approve. I am Prepper. I feel like my name came mostly from Pops because after I joined in right as HowlerCon was happening because I was not at HowlerCon, and so I was living vicariously through everybody else in the den, and I was just kind of lurking for a while. Yeah. But then I filled out the questionnaire, and then Pops was asking me some specific questions in comms about like something I put in my thing, and I was like, but perfect name. I was a Girl Scout. I'm always prepared. I have like bug out bags. I'm the person that carries whatever you need in my backpack. If you need it, I have it. I am obsessed with tactical stuff. So Prepper ended up fitting really, really good. And I love it. So, and now I've made my way. You guys, the den made me Discord savvy because I was never on Discord before, and the madness that consumed me with the den, now I teach other people Discord. It's interesting.
There you go. Yeah, the den is a bit of a struggle if that's your first Discord, because we love channels and threads and roles and everything else we can throw at you.
Yeah, it was like 150 different things to know.
It was an onslaught of tech. I was like, I'm no blue. I felt like I was a blue. I felt like I was a techie. I was like, I'm a millennial. I grew up with the internet. I can get this. And I was like, oh no, I can't. No, I can't. I think I was just trying to be in too many channels at once and like trying to catch up and then responding to things and then realizing it was like from 2 days ago, and I was like, I look so weird right now. I look like one of those lurkers that when you're looking at people's Instagrams, you don't want to double heart it because it was from like a year ago. Here I am, like answering things like that. But now I got it. I know what channels I usually hang out with. You know. The Gym Rat War was awesome. That was another really epic thing to join, and then just made you more involved in the den in different aspects. So I love it here.
Yeah, we're so happy you found us and that, you're hanging out with us. It's so great. I will say on
next HowlerCon.
Guaranteed.
I'm not missing it for anything. I still haven't met Pierce.
We've got to remedy that.
That was my first time meeting Pierce in person anyway.
Well, yeah, I've only done his virtual events, and that's it. He doesn't. I gotta talk to him. He doesn't come down to Miami. We're at the tip of Florida. I don't blame him, but
yeah, but Miami's nice.
It is. I know, but it's hot. It's hot, and it's far. It happens to us with bands and things like that. They don't like to come all the way down because then they have to like trek all the way back up. So the closest it'll get is like Central Florida before it'll come all the way down.
Fair. I feel like Crescent can relate to not having bands visit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would assume Saskatchewan is just not one of those places that they're like, yes, it's on every tour time, every tour date.
Yeah. It's on almost none of them.
I was going to say, when was the last time a major band was in Saskatchewan?
Actually, they come more frequently now.
Ooh.
But
okay. Bands you want to see?
There's
Like,
or is it all country?
I mean, like I've seen some of my favorite bands. Like I've seen Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, and Lamb of God all in Saskatoon.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. It's on the map.
But no T Swift.
No T Swift. No.
Well, I mean, we had to fight in Parliament and get the Prime Minister to tweet after her just to get her to Toronto. So don't worry, I have tickets. I have tickets.
I think I saw that she's going to Edmonton now too, or maybe that's just the movie premiere.
I think that's
is in Edmonton.
I don't know. We'll have to look. Anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
What are you drinking, Skipper?
I have apple pie moonshine because I feel like if you're going to be stuck on a trash moon, they're not drinking the good stuff. They've got the moonshine. And then it's fall and I'm a basic bitch. So I love my apple pie, my pumpkin spice and everything. So I'm right into the season with that one.
Nice.
Yeah. Cousin, what do you have?
Okay, I got one thematic, one joke, and one Summersby. So thematic one, I'm drinking a Last Word because Ori gets the last word in her discussion with Darrow and Cassius. I'm going to Venus, and then Wayward Chin, all the nice Bologna chirping we get. I'm drinking Wild Turkey.
Nice.
Okay, I like it. That's a good one. Yeah. This, I don't know, it's so great to be back and with all of them. We kind of, these opening chapters we get, obviously Darrow, but all of kind of our favorite side characters, not really the main other characters. We're missing Severo, we're missing Victra, Mustang, all of that, but like Cassius would probably be the next biggest one, and then like Thraxa, Screwface, like Holloway, Harnassus. Like, it's all of the gangs back to the boys are back in town, is what I've seen a lot of people referring to it as.
That makes sense. That checks out. I do like that though, that we kind of start with the side characters that were such a prevalent point of where we ended. So to see all of them back again is good.
I would say especially Thraxa, I was very excited for her to... You have ghost humans. Crescent gets ghost dogs. You have a ghost human.
That's my fault. I told her she could walk by. I was like, I've got a screen. You're fine. Then I can see the fade through my space.
That's okay. I have ghost dogs.
Okay. You'll see little tails go through. That it's just like, what is it? It's this ghost dog.
I was very confused for a second. I was like, I saw ghosting, and I went, "That's a tall. Why is there somebody tall behind me?" And then I went, "Wait, that's not my screen."
Did you forget what your study looks like?
Kind of.
Oh man,
nice. But yeah, I was very excited to see, especially like Thraxa back, because we end Dark Age with like her just being epic juggernaut, running through walls and everything. And then I just love that she's the only one who has remained with a razor, and it's like the bane of Darrow's existence is that like just give me bad loss.
I know, right? And then like, no. She even like. I love that he makes even like he makes note that he's like, she blocked it with her body so that I can't even see it. Like, not she peeps him from the beginning. I also love that she's this tough, badass warrior fighter, and she's stuck in the Archimedes.
Because her thighs are too big. Because classic Telemenace. We can't find a wolf cloak big enough for Pax, and now we can't find a fry suit big enough for Thraxa.
And
like specifically her thighs, like it's like we couldn't fit her thighs. Like that's just the epitome of that. So I thought that was great. And I have to say, I actually loved. I I loved seeing Darrow in his shit. Like,
Yeah.
just in his shit. He's so
Oh, yeah.
bitter and miserable. And I know it sounds horrible, but I enjoyed reading it because I felt like Pierce did a really good job with the first chapter and like even leading into it, that foreshadowing what the book was going to bring later on, but also bringing him back to his basics.
Yeah.
He has that statement where he even admits that as much as he's holding on to his anger, it's not really there. It's all for theatrics. And that he's like kind of realizing and letting things go, fighting it, but trying to. And it's the first chapter where we hear the very first Book of Understandings quote.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen all of Pierce's Q&As or anything like that, so I might not know the answer. Like, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do we know where he was influenced on for these Book of Understandings?
No, so Jabs, actually, I went to Chicago with her to see it, and she directly asked that because it's very similar to a few things, especially if you've gone through like addiction and all of that, the like, you know, work that they use to get it out. And so she kind of specifically asked, but I don't think Pierce understood what she was fully asking, because he ended up just saying of more of where Darrow's point of view came from rather than where like the veil path to the veil came from. So we don't quite know, but I know we've put it in the Reaper Room and a few other places, because I would love to know that, of did he read, what philosophies are behind it, kind of, because it's so good. Like I've seen on, especially there's a Reddit where they've been trying to track what all of the passages are. And it's just like amazingly written. And did that come from just Pierce's mind? You would assume it's influenced from something out there.
Yeah, I found myself like taking notes on them, and I was like, man, I should put that on a sticky note. Like, I feel like that would help me out on a day, especially the wind and how you can, like, I was just like, I'm with this. So I don't normally read that kind of stuff, but I was like, I could see how this was very fitting. So I was interested on what his influence or his motivation he was pulling from at that point.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I absolutely love that call out. And well, talk about Thraxa. One of my favorite lines in the whole thing is at the very beginning, where she's like, "Get out of your life again, like your existential crisis, and come back inside."
Your existential
right?
dread.
And answer me.
Yeah, like it's so on point, and I love that Pierce has opted to go that way, because it makes so much sense. Like, Darrow is in such a dark place after Dark Age and Iron Gold and everything else, and especially like separated from his closest friends, with the exception of Thraxa and Screwface, who, I mean, Thraxa's been around a lot, but Screwface has been undercover. Like, yeah, they're friends, but who knows what that dynamic over the years has actually looked like.
Right.
And so it makes so much sense that he would be in his shit, as you say. And so to explore that is, I think, very great. I think it's really good.
And I also think it's awesome that it shows like a level of the bond between like Darrow and Thraxa, that she can call him out on his shit and that it's true, and he doesn't even argue it. He's just all right.
He's like, oh, fuck, you got me.
Fine.
Well, isn't it like classic? Because she's basically the sister-in-law, right? Like, that's basically her role. And that's, she kind of knows in that moment of like, I will be the one who pulls you out from this. Like, it's so great.
Pretty much. But yeah, that was great, and I love also that he starts off already shitting on Cassius, right? Because he starts off the chapter and he's just like the bastard, right?
Yeah,
and bloody damn Bellona.
Yeah, it immediately brought me back to the Institute, and I think that was like so important to do coming to the end of the series. To like shoot you back for a second of their dynamic, and because you know that he's saying it, but he loves the guy. He just saved him, so and he holds Cassius in a special place. We saw that at the end of Morning Star, and like certain aspects of that. So I thought it was great. That was another little tidbit that I enjoyed in the first chapter.
Yeah. It's just
I like that that Cassius basically sets the Archimedes down, grabs another ship, and just fucks off. He's
We'll
like,
be back.
I got things to do.
This was fun, but I'm gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Also-
refuse to be part of Trash Moon.
Yeah.
I've got better places to be. It's not on Trash Moon.
Did you guys? So I have a really bad. As a fandom, I feel like I should know this stuff, but I'm gonna be honest with you. He mentioned how Cassius left with Ori, and I was like, "Who the hell is Ori?" Like I forgot who she was, and I had reread it, but I guess I just took it as like, unfortunately, a throwaway character that just happens to be there to just fill the void because we got to give names to some of the characters that are in the scene. That I totally forgot for a while. And it wasn't until she was a little bit more prevalent, like what she was saying, and it was getting deeper. I was like, let me go back real quick because I had totally forgotten about her completely.
Yeah. Wait a tick.
Yeah, for sure. And that was when we were reading, like the amount of things I went to the wiki for, being like, who? Am I supposed to know who this is? And I hadn't reread Dark Age yet. I jumped from Iron Gods to Lightbringer. And then reread
because I was sitting there like rocking back and forth. Like, I need you to read it, please.
And so I was like, okay. So then I spent a lot of the time on the wiki being like, who's this? Am I supposed to know that person? And so I had no idea who she was. And then the best is, I think, like, we'll see in a couple chapters when she comes back, that everyone's just falling in love with her and all of this. But but I think the conversation about how, like, Cassius is clearly in love with her, and she's just like, nope.
She's
the one girl who denies, like, nope.
Of course, and that's why he loves her all the more, right?
Yeah. What you can't have.
I know, right? And I do love that because everybody's so used to everybody just throwing themselves at Cassius, and of course, and she's like, not having it. I can care less.
Yeah.
About you. You are a means to an end. You are but a stepping stone of this path.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I had for chapter 1. It's just Darrow brooding.
Oh gods, brooding again. Some things never change.
Just brooding.
Just doing what he does best.
Yeah.
I think
what? I like that Darrow is like, you know what? I might just totally use the Path of the Veil as toilet paper. Like that's all it's good for. And then Nope. He starts learning. He starts going to space therapy.
There's no therapy in space, but there is the Path to the Veil. We need to change our t-shirts.
Yeah, you could just add it to the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is the Path to the Veil. Yeah, it is kind of our first. Listen, somebody out there is doing some kind of philosophy, psychology, something to help us through.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of shirts.
Oh, yes.
Let's do a little fashion show interlude.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
So we've got Skipper with our Redbubble design. There's no therapy in space. Redbubble.com/Fade2Obsidian.
Yep.
And we've got Prepper over there with the Howler's Den merch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's at howlerhollow.net.
Yep. And there's a whole bunch of designs now. New hollow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new ones for Lightbringer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm rocking the Low Draft Gala for HowlerCon, which also came from howlerhollow.net.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's still available.
She might have taken it down just because. I don't know.
It was a limited time thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there.
If you really want it, go take a look.
If you want it, buy it. If it's not, sorry.
Well, I feel like if you really want it that badly, shoot Salem a message and she can put it back up. I'm sure that is not that difficult, but
there's a lot of good stuff on there. I'm waiting.
Yeah, there is.
Get even more stuff.
The new Lionheart shirt.
Oh, That geometric line is awesome.
Oh my god.
The Cassius shirt, also
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We can't. We'll talk about it later.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I know. I was gonna say also the Lyria shirt. We'll talk about later. That I really like that one.
Yep. So definitely a lot of cool stuff out there now.
Yeah.
Also, huge shout out to Salem. We now have There's No Shade in Tulsa design on our Redbubble.
Yeah.
And she made that, and she's like, all right, here, you guys have it.
Because we kept saying we'd have it, and then I never did it, and she was like, here you go. Like, she basically got fed up with us and was like, here's the design. And I was like,
just take it.
You. And the fun thing with Redbubble is any of our designs come on like 20 different, or one of them is 32 different items, including shower curtains. We are going to buy a drink for the first person who gets to Fade to Obsidian shower curtain or bed duvet. You can also get bed duvets in some of our designs. Not all of them. I tried the other day to put Catch These Helldiver Hands on a duvet, and that design does not work on it. But you can get a pillow that says Catch These Helldiver Hands. So
I did see that.
Right?
There you go. There's a little bit for everything, for everyone.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right.
I was going to say with the low draft gala, that kind of feels like where they are on the Trash Moon, especially with Screwface. Like they are the low drafts at this point. They are.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Screw.
Such a rough go.
He rose to glory and then fell.
But like really, like Darrow talks about, like, all of his sacrifices have been in the dark, and he's never actually he's never gotten glory, right? He's always just kind of been, and Screwface was there,
right?
Yes,
and
there was Screwface, and then he comes back and has been in the Ash Legions and was instrumental in planning the Battle of Ladon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it doesn't help Screwface that he's on Bellona's ship, that Bellona saved him. I'm sure that it just adds to the acid in his mouth, that out of all the places, out of all the people to save him, it's the man who killed Ares. He can't let that go.
Oh, yeah.
And so it must be such an even harder thing for him. But I also like him bitter. I think Darrow needed him bitter. I think I felt like the first 5 chapters for this book were really necessary to kind of set the tone for the rest of it. And I think that Screw being able to kind of call him out and be that doubt right in his face, and like, this was wrong, we did, all of that right in Darrow's face needed to be there, because everybody else will joke, but like he said, like he talks about how silent it is. Now, nobody really talks about the doubts out loud. Everybody kind of keeps it inside, except for Screw. Screw doesn't care. Screw's like, I hate this shit. This sucks. I want to go home. I'm over it. Look at me. I have no fucking hair. So I do feel for him, but I also think that it was necessary for him to play that role in this part.
Yeah. I feel like he a little bit serves to kind of show Darrow, like, this is how far you could go. Like, this is how poisonous you could be to morale. Mm-hmm. And I think it helps him kind of like turn out of it a little bit. He's like, I can't, like, I understand that he is in a real bad place and we're going to get him out, but like, I can't do that. Yeah. I'm going to go this way and upwards.
Right. Right. It kind of forces him to be the shift, the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, he either leans into it and commiserates with Screwface, or he kind of shakes himself out of it and moves on.
And I think it's interesting that you mentioned that, because it's shortly after that he has that whole moment with him training, right? And how he almost gives up, and like almost gives up into that voice, that inner voice. It's like he's tired, he's done enough, and all of that.
Yeah,
And
I'll do an easy day.
Yeah. And then shifts and then ends up doing his training with none other than Mustang's voice in
Right.
his,
Aw.
which I love that.
That
You
is
know,
the sweetest thing.
I've always found it interesting that in this book, while there's romance, they're barely ever together, right? And so
Mhm.
you get this commuter relationship viewpoint, and how in little ways they each, because when we later on in the book get other chapters, you can see how they still keep each other in mind and in heart and in soul, even when they're so far
Yeah.
apart and don't know the fate of the other one.
Right.
Because at this
Yeah.
point, Daryl has no idea
No,
what is
he has
happening.
nothing because he even makes a
He's
comment
Yeah.
about
He's
Sephi. Like I caught that. This was my
yeah.
third read through,
Yeah.
and he said something about
Callaway
like,
tells him Steffi's dead.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
like before that says something about like, I wonder if Sephi is still queen of whatever, and it's like, well, she's not. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, he has that moment in Dark Age. When I was rereading Dark Age, I was like, ooh, this is not good for you. But that's the other thing. He's also brooding because he also lacks information. He is like completely out of it. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and it felt for me very Harry Potter when he's like, nobody's telling me anything, and nobody's telling me what's going on, and I'm so, like, he was so angry, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
true. But that's the other thing. He doesn't know, Mustang's fate, his son's fate, or
Yeah.
anything like that. And so to still be sending stories and recording things and listening to her voice and remembering things like that, I think shows an immense faith in her abilities, and also just a really nice way of including romance with it being romance.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get the direct romance, but you get the yearning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think more the long-lasting stuff. I think
Yep. For sure.
I'm also a reader of like Okatar and stuff like that, so I can go full crazy romance, and then I can do this and love it.
Yeah.
And then again, chapter 2 has even more of the understandings, which were really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I was looking at my notes, making
All
sure.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. I figured you were looking down. I was like, they're looking at notes. 100%.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, because I tried to have something to say or about each chapter, just to make sure that I like hit each again, except for one chapter.
And this
That's
is
it.
why you're a prepper and I'm not.
Hell yeah.
Again, the
I
name
just
You're
show
prepping
up.
everything and she's skipping chapters.
Hey!
a whole book, and then
a whole book.
Fine.
the OCD in me would never have been able to do that. Like, I timed out, again, prepping, but I timed out how long it was going to take me so that I would finish Dark Age right as I was going to start Lightbringer.
Oh, look at you.
And it worked out. There was some really long days of listening, but I made it in the end.
Yeah.
And then so then we go from him practicing and having that moment of like peace, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right before the sirens ring, and he gets to be
Yeah.
old Daryl again.
Full force. Everybody run to this is where we get the like him yearning of like, bad lass. I just need the razor. Get the Raxaby.
Give it to me.
Yeah, rifles are fine, but you don't want to be at the mercy of the quality of your enemy's armor.
Yeah.
And it's true, and he likes it tough and up close and personal. Is how he likes it.
Yeah, he says too. He's I'd rather be in close where the kill is assured. Which, like, first of all, like, the kill is assured when he's in close.
Right.
He's still Darrow here. Listen, he's brooding and he's grown up.
I'm not disagreeing. He
still has his ego with him. No. I'm just saying he's got his ego. He's always got the confidence of that Helldiver underneath after all these years. He's got the confidence of the Helldiver.
He does, and I like that. He's a little cocky sometimes. He's like, I got this, as long as but if I need my razor though. But I still like that he also has like a clutch. He's like, but that's what's gonna help me do what it is that I need to do. Give it to me, please.
And Thrax is like, no.
No.
This is mine.
Not happening. Yeah, not happening.
This is mine.
But that moment again, I was kind of excited. I was like, oh man, are they really, reading it for the first time? I was just like, damn, right off the bat? Like, we're just going to get right. And after Dark Age, that was such a brutal onslaught. I was like, really? All right, Pierce, let's do it. And so.
Can things not go right for 5 chapters?
Can we just have some peace?
just for like a little bit. Just
everybody have some relaxation.
So it was. Luckily, that's what it turned out to be. When it just turned out to be Ori and not just Ori and Cassius. It turned out to be
whole crew comes in.
2,000
2,000
from Mercury.
Yeah.
You mean with sassy Char, little attitude Char. Yeah. Ooh, I wanted to hit him a few times, and every time I felt it inside of me, Thraxa came in with like a comment, and I was like, yeah. Tell him something.
We love Thraxa.
Oh, we do. I mean, I don't blame Char to an extent.
Oh yeah,
right?
no,
like,
absolutely.
What
not.
happened? What happened sucks, and what he saw as Darrow is escaping. When he talks about basically what Atlas did to the people who were behind.
Yeah.
Kind of like that's crazy. So I can understand Char, but I also felt like, calm the fuck down. You just landed on a pile of trash after I got my ass handed to me. Give me like a smidge here.
You saw so many things. Did you see the entire ass razor that was through my chest? Like, I was not at my best.
There a little bit, I had things were happening.
Yeah.
Things were going on.
Well, and it is interesting because even then when they, so obviously there was a save yourself portion to that in Dark Age, but we see it again here in this chapter where Thraxa and Darrow are talking it out of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take them surprise. Well, we're going to lose a bunch of the men. And kind of the two of them are like, it's going to be what has to happen. Like, it's just that still mentality, which is...
It was...
in a way, almost justifiable.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get the head of your army back to the army.
Yeah.
But honestly, most of that was Thraxa. Darrow
wants to go home.
Kind of agrees a little bit.
She's got a fox to cuddle.
Yeah.
I think that it was her that initially would said it, but he said we have
Darrow
a
definitely
share.
Agrees with it,
right? Because he says a two-person cabal, we share one mind, right? So I almost feel like we hear it from her. She just voiced his thoughts, right? And so I do like how it goes from he's got this duality of him in this chapter, because you have the peaceful him that finally worked out and did this thing and is listening to these understandings and is talking to his, and then in a flash he becomes the Reaper again in the hallways, and he has this conversation with Screw where he feels bad about sacrificing on his people, and then right again as soon as he's in the throes of it, he's like, well, gonna have to do it again. and I think what ends up kind of finally pouring water on his fire, I think, was all the information that Char ends up giving him.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's a lot. And I mean, big picture stuff, but we also get the, what they went through, and Rona's not there. Right? That's a big thing. And especially, so you talk big picture, he gets to learn that his brother is the Archgovernor, but his brother's daughter is, and I mean, this is up for debate. I take it that she's dead, but there is a few people holding on hope that no, she's just lost. But either way, he talks about how he now has to, we've got another Post-it note.
We got a sticky note.
He has to talk
to the
dead? Brother / Archgovernor about losing, is the word I will use, his niece. Or the daughter, right? It's a very like big picture. Oh my god, my brother's got this thing. Oh my god, my niece is not here. Is my word
Right.
there.
I did have the question. I wanted to ask, do you guys think that Rona's dead?
Nope.
Oh, see, I think she is only because Pierce has used the trick of bringing people back too many times that he said he would never. Well, I guess he said he'd never bring anyone else back from the dead, and if she's never declared dead, I guess
she's
he
never
could
been.
do
She's
it.
never been confirmed dead. It's just her shuttle went down in Heliopolis, and we know how easy it is for people to get lost in Heliopolis.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's dead.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm gonna go with she's not dead. I personally think she's not dead right now, and only because, one, Pierce has done this to us many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, she's not. Nobody ever says in this book that Rona's dead. He says, "I don't know. She fell.
Yeah.
I didn't see her. She got to, she couldn't miss it. We got bombarded. Like, this whole thing." But it's never truly. But then I like fight with it every time I think about it, and every time I read the chapters again, I'm like, what would her purpose be to stay alive? What would her fight be in order for that to be a little nugget that is going to be important in Red God? You know what I mean? So when I think about it that way,
is she the Red God?
She is definitely gonna Draken stomp somebody.
Oh, that's true.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say, if you go to the Dramatiz Persona, I don't know if I'm saying that right, she is listed as missing, I believe, or lost. She is listed as, where is it? Niece of Darrow, daughter of Kieran, Howler Lancer, pup to a red, lost in the fall of Heliopolis. So you're like, it is very still open of like, what does lost mean? Is she literally just wandering the forest, or is she dead?
You just imagine her sitting under a tree, just waiting. Like, guys, I'm here.
Someone will come back for me. It'll be fine.
My uncle will come for me. Of course he will.
Yeah.
I want to keep playing with what would her purpose be, because I think that if this is going to be the last of it, if Red God is it, then she's got to serve a purpose for her to magically, he might have left that door open for a thought bubble that might come to him later. Right. But I can't think of a purpose for her in that. But it does suck, like you said. He finds out this great news about his brother, and then has to also realize that what this means when he goes back to finally see him. He knows that people are alive, but not necessarily where they are. He still doesn't know about Pax.
Yes.
That's a big thing that he doesn't know. And then the most important thing is what he's soon to find out, which is Severo's fate.
Yes.
Which is killer. Yeah. That was killer. I felt for him so bad. I do like that Cassius had to break the news. Char was like, I'm not dealing with this information. Yeah. It's going to come from Cassius. But that whole thing, we're finding out that Severo was being sold at auction, and having to see Severo, who has been his savior and who has helped him out of all of his holes and all of his things, be trapped.
The uncapturable, enigmatic goblin all of a sudden is now a piece of meat.
Yeah. Literally, just dangling bait. Is like that's it.
Yeah.
And he has this line when he says it, that he was just like, love has seldom caused me so much physical pain. And that is such a, like, I love his brotherly love, and like just how bad it is for him to see him in that position without even really knowing of where it's going, because it's going to get so like, this isn't even the worst part. Severo being at the auction house, being sold to the highest bidder, isn't even the worst part of the news of Severo being captured.
Yeah.
Did you guys foresee as you were reading it, like, who you thought would have had him?
No, definitely not.
No. I read it way too fast. There was no way I was having thoughts between finding out he was being sold at auction and that it was to the Minotaur.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to finish Lightbringer, Crescent?
Oh, God. 3 days.
3 days?
3 days while also working full time.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And running out of toner in my printer.
I applaud you.
Yeah.
I applaud you.
This is why I couldn't read Dark Ages, because I took too long and I had him like.
Okay, but wait a second. Crescent, what's too long? You didn't give her 3 days. Like,
no. I took a month. I took a month, but because like I started the first few chapters and we were in the middle of Iron Gold. No, we were doing Morning Star, and I started the first few chapters. Yeah, it was April. April was Morning Star when we got it.
Oh, yeah.
So I got it, read the first couple chapters, went, I have no idea what's happening. So then I was like, well, I'll just read Iron Gold and Dark Age, and then I'll get into it. And then it was while we were, and I can't now go into too much depth on why this story makes sense, but we were recording a specific Iron Gold episode that the point of view of some of the characters becomes, well, I think our point of view becomes stronger on that character, and he was like freaking out, and so it was like, you have to finish Lightbringer. And so that's why I just jumped Dark Age, because I was like, well, I'm only finishing Iron Gold right now, like, I don't know what you want from me.
I want you to finish Lightbringer.
yeah, I do know what you want from me, to not do Dark Age, but...
I've been very transparent about this.
Yeah. But you've now read it. This is your third or fourth read.
I'm on 4.
Right? You're on 4. I'm on 3 right now. Yeah.
I'm on 3.
You're on 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was told to wait so that we could do it with the Den in November. So then I just did chapters 1 through 6 over and over and you know. So I've read chapters 1 through 5 like 6 times.
There you go. Clever. I have read 1 through 4. I didn't even get to number 5 today.
Lucky.
Yeah.
I read it physically on the beta, and then it was the week that it came out.
Yep.
I listened through it while working. And then driving from camping to Tulsa, I listened to it again. And then I haven't listened to it at all until this afternoon.
Okay. I did listening, waiting for the book to arrive in the mail, and then I kind of switched for a little while. It was really jarring for me to hear such a lovely narrator do Lysander's voice. And I also, it was so many chapters of Darrow that my brain couldn't disconnect the voice with it being Darrow. So for a little while, I would read Lysander's chapters, go back to the audiobook, and then go back to Lysander. And I did that for a little while until I felt that Tim got his cadence. I think it took him a little while to kind of adjust. I'll even say that Darrow sounded a little different in some chapters than in other ones, and so he kind of, I think, just it had been a long time. It had been we had what a 4-year gap.
4-year gap. Yeah.
You know, so I don't blame it at all. He's amazing, but I think it just took him a little bit of time to kind of like wear the skin again and wear the voice again, and then try to figure out a way to be a little bit more pompous for Lysander.
Yeah.
I did miss the female voices for the female characters, especially Mustang. Mustang was something I missed a lot, but it was pretty good. And you're
at least I will say, at least he doesn't do the thing that like the Game of Thrones narrator does, which is you just use a high pitched voice for all the females. Like at least he made his voice softer rather than high pitch, and that's my big thing. Is it's like, stop making us sound like this. Like no.
Right? No, don't do it. Just I like that too. I was almost afraid. I was like, is he gonna try to do like a high pitch, like a real female voice, I was like, I hope not, because at this point I'd rather it just change in tone and in mood for each character than any infliction of voice or anything like that.
For sure.
I think TGR had enough practice doing a lot of these female characters.
That's
like
true.
I'm sure over his whole career, but also like through the entire first trilogy.
That is true. He does have to narrate,
still voicing everybody else.
What Mustang sounded like in the first 3, especially.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a good call.
You're the one drinking apple moonshine.
Yes.
So who has Several?
I didn't even make that tie-in.
Nice.
Hey!
It is the Minotaur. It is Apollonius has Severo, we discover. Which, like, I don't know. It's so funny, my views on Apollonius, because some people are, like, obsessed. And, like, I get it, but I don't to the extent that other people do. And so then him having Severo, like, my initial reactions, like, it was one of those, like, this could be a very good thing. And who knows what games he's still playing for himself, because he definitely is in his own little, like, Apollonius is in his own little kind of world, and just Apollonius works for Apollonius, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it could be a very good thing that he has Severo, or it could be an absolutely horrific thing. Like, it's so interesting.
And I think you had the same idea Daryl did, right? Because he thinks that this might be a good thing, but he's not sure. But it could, because he knows that at the end of the day, and I'll agree with him on this, that Apollonius respects him more than his fellow Golds. And I will say that I agree with that 100%, because he sees him as an equal,
right?
In, you know, and that is and like a good rival to have, like, you know, that is a worthy opponent. He is a worthy opponent, and because of that, I will respect him. And I'm not a fanatic of Apple, right? I'm not, but I love his intricacies. He's so, even when he does the speech of that he's got him, you know, when the video cuts out, he's so, I don't even know how to put it into words, because he's so poetic, but he's being a jerk, and he's like threatening, like, and he's doing like these asshole things, I'm gonna kill you, and he's saying all of these other things, but you almost still feel like he's complimenting you, like he's telling you he's gonna kill you, and you feel good about the way he's saying it.
He's like a real villain.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just so...
yes. Real villain is a great way of wording it. He's like a classical theatrical. Oh, yeah, he's great. Like, I get why people are obsessed. I am not quite to that level, but like, I can appreciate him. But I also like the idea that he's been sending this message out just on a constant loop.
Yeah, for 2 months.
They're like, how did you get this? And they're like, how didn't we get it?
It's been just going. It is an Apollonius love letter to Daryl, and he has just mass spammed the universe looking for it.
He's the toxic ex that you can't get rid of. He's like...
Yeah, no, he is that stalker, and I love it. He's like, I know it in my ward-bred bones that you are alive. You are not dead. He's like, he's got this like obsession with Daryl that I think is like absolutely hilarious.
So good.
It is so good. It is so good. I like him. I think that he's a real villain in the same way that like Thanos was a real villain for me in like the MCU universe, where because there's so many villains in this book, especially like because we know one, we know Atlas is a huge one, and so is Apple, but they're so different. Like when you put Atlas and Apple next to each other, they're so opposite and yet so fearfully and like scary, and they are, you know, but they're so different. I still feel like I can sit down and have like a drink with Apple. I would not do that with Atlas, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something in the drink you get from Atlas.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Which, by the way, just to go back, I know we're going back a chapter, but how sad that like Screwface is that scared of Atlas that he's not leaving his bunk like little room. That's
Yeah.
the comms, the
Yeah.
sensor
PTSD
station.
for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you know, I just had to like nod at that because, and even Darrow knows it. Darrow's scared of him, you know.
Yep.
Which I also think is it's nice to know when your heroes can admit that they're scared of somebody else, you know. And I also think that it was I had such a hard time with Pierce did a great job with the last 3 books that Darrow became hero and villain, and you played that part, you know, back and forth.
Yeah.
So, but even at his worst, there was still someone he was scared of, and for a while we didn't know that. And I think that having Atlas for him to be really scared of, which was humbling. It's a humble thing for somebody who's so cocky.
Well, and also he acknowledges in this part of like, I should have killed him, right? Like, and it's one of the few like we kind of, when we talked to Hale Reaper about Mercy and all of this, of the amount of times that Darrow has let the villain get away. Lysander, how many times did he fucking have Lysander and didn't kill him, right? Like, and you know, some of his others just throughout the years of he just tried to be that bigger person, and this is this moment of like, no, I should have killed Atlas. Like,
I mean, he has that moment with Char when Char's telling him of all these things. He's just like, does Mercy like mean nothing? Like I should have done all of those things, and I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, you totally should have. Like all 3 of them, absolutely.
Yeah.
Clip that branch.
Yeah.
Please forget this already. But I also think that, again, it's that tug. Am I the hero when I do that, or am I the villain when I do that?
Right.
And I mean, there's big choices to be made. And I think nobody understood the level of consequences and escalation that some of those mercies would cost in the grand scheme of things. I think only Darrow deep down inside kind of knew what it could bring. But he was following his friends. You know, Lysander lived not because of Darrow. You know. That wasn't his choice, so.
Yep, for sure.
Apple. And
of course.
I like him, and I hate his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Tharsis just a greaseball.
He's just a freeloader. He's just, you know, he's like the frat brother, right? Like, I'm just gonna party and I'm gonna have like a really good time and like, yo, my brother's awesome, and do nothing. Like, but just party.
Reap the benefits of what Apple has done for you. Even though Apple is apparently the like outcast one because he is clearly a psychopath. But like, at least he's doing something.
And people follow him, you know? People follow him.
I mean, a lot of psychopaths get followed. That's why cults are so popular, and like Ted Bundy could get so many girlfriends and things. But
which also just now we understand why so many people are like fascinated with Apple. It's just,
oh my
you know.
God.
It's just
guys, get out before you drink the Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a yikes from me, dog.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh man. And then now Cassius shows up, right? With his I love that nobody cares that he brought the helium, that everybody just ignores it.
Well, and this is what we were saying earlier of like Thraxa is the one who's like, I think Ori has one of the helium or whatever, and Thraxa like throws everybody out of the way and is like, I've got it, we're fine. I will be the savior for her. I've got this.
You know, I hope Thraxa finds someone in Red God. I really want her to have someone.
One of the Telemanis has to have a happy ending and a love interest. None of them.
None of them.
Now, we don't know. I'm going to say her name wrong because I'm going to call her Xena Warrior Princess. What's her real name? Zana. And then there's the unnamed daughter is always my favorite because we just know there's another daughter out there. So maybe they're both
they're living
married
happily.
And like,
Kavix is married.
Okay.
Niobe exists. Come on.
I understand. Okay, but we've almost
We're talking the
lost
younger
Kavik.
generation here. We all.
Okay,
Yeah.
There's been there's been 6 books. Kavix has almost died 6 times. Like, I feel like it's been every single book. Something happens to Kavix. He gets captured and he almost gets killed.
Yeah.
He gets shot and he almost gets killed. He gets blown up and he almost gets killed. Gets stuck in water and almost gets killed. Kavix he's a very big brute and I love him to death, but he's like a heat up in every single
He is
battle.
our true
He is
damsel
the
in yeah, he's a damsel in distress. Which I love that he is the damsel in distress. The biggest, toughest man is the damsel in distress in all of this. Not well, I guess Mustang gets captured, but then can get herself out, kind of a thing. Like, Victor's never been put. Like, kudos to Pierce that he's never gone, we'll put the woman in that position.
Right.
We will put the giant,
he puts the 8-foot tall monster of a human repeatedly in that position,
but
then winks at it.
Yep.
But yeah, to your point, I do hope that, we've lost Pax, we've lost Daxo. Hopefully Thraxa, like, she, at the end of this, I think she just deserves, like, to retire somewhere and just take over the clone of Sophocles with whoever she wants to be, like, in love with. Like,
get a good partner, have them rub down those big old thighs of yours, and just relax.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel the same thing about Holiday. We don't get her in these chapters, but I feel the same way about Holiday. I feel like she's gone through enough. Kind of need her to just finally chill.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we know in Dark Age she will not be having anybody rub down her thighs.
No, unfortunately. Aw.
Well, I mean, I guess they could. It's just there's not much benefit.
Right. Exactly. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Oh God. Are we at that chapter yet that I don't really want to talk about?
Well, I think so. I think we have talked as much as we can about our little castaways, which I would like to say that every time I see it, there's I know it's from Backyardigans is the actual, but it is a like Instagram sound of castaways. We are castaways is all I always think whenever we talk about these chapters. It's just castaways. It's from Backyardigans if you don't know your meme. Yep. But yeah. Anyway, I think we've kind of said what we can on these.
We've done the Marcher to death.
We have. I will say this.
No, hang on.
Oh, what did we miss?
Learn about Dominus Portobello.
Yes!
How did we
Dominus
Portobello.
That is true.
What is it? A nuclear bomb? Nuclear weapon?
Yeah, it's a 30 megaton nuclear warhead.
Yeah.
Warhead. That's the word.
Just sitting, like hanging out.
With a big personality.
Yeah.
I think is what he says. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. There was another thing I wanted to mention before we move on is I don't know how I felt that nobody wanted to go and save Severo. That everybody was so...
Well, even Screwface, this is a good point, because even Screwface at this point refers to him as a traitor and is like...
Right.
Because he says something about, like, Darrow's like, your room is starting to look like Sabro's or whatever, and he's like, there's no Julia jade and gold on the walls here, and it's this whole thing, and he's like, that traitor. And, like, I don't know, I've been pretty vocal, especially through Iron Gold and Dark Age, of like, Severo we see it at the beginning of Iron Gold, where Victra has to pretty much, like, is begging Darrow of, like, don't take him, and Darrow's like, he's coming anyway. And, like, Severo has always just been there, but he doesn't want to in Iron Gold. He doesn't, like, he wants to be with his kids. So then the fact that he finally stands up for himself, which is something that Holiday got to do in Iron Gold. Like, where are Clown and... They don't ever say anything in this part of Clown and Pebble. We don't know where they are, but they had gone with Severo. Because in Dark Age, he's with Severo, right? Like, they did what was best for them, and Severo's now taking the heat, and Screwface, who's one of his closest friends, who should be at the level of Clown and Pebble, he's a traitor, he's all of this, like, And yeah, it's really kind of sad of then all of them. They all
And
then
then
go off on their own,
Oh.
and they're not seen as traitors.
because it was
So, I
Daryl who
will-
left, right? Like they're returning, right? And I will say this
Yeah.
about Screw: as much as he hates him, when Daryl's about to leave, even shaking and like holding a pistol with like PTSD, he's like, "I will go with you." He's the
Yep,
only
I was
one
just
who
about to say
says,
that same
"I
thing.
will go with you." You need someone that you can trust, because he still doesn't trust Ari and Cassius, so he
Yeah.
feels like he's almost sending Daryl basically to, again, another suicide mission of whether or not he saves Severo. But I felt this like really weird feeling. I was like, not one of you, which is not a lot, and you guys have gone through a lot, but not one of you, for as much as Severo did for everybody. I mean, everyone, even Cassius. I mean, like he almost killed himself just to prove a point, you know. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is I loved that everybody met Daryl in the hangar knowing he was going to try to escape and try to go and save Severo behind his back. Because for me, it was one of the very first like foreshadowings of like the theme of the book, where what Daryl used to do isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
have caught on, you know, and people are now starting to see his way of thinking, his repetition, and we've kind of saw that a few times earlier on when Lysander was able to peep things he knew that Daryl was going to do in war, because he used to watch all his like fights and stuff like that. But you get it here even more. Like his own people are like, you can't pull this on me, and it kind of leads to a trend in the next few chapters of this book where everything he did before is no longer working for him, and he's got to change. So that's what I'll say on that. And then for you, that you said about Apollonius, how it could be a good thing if he because he has Severo. I felt like Pierce did a good job by giving us a Lysander chapter next and letting us know what Apple's really up to, and like who's got deals with him and where, to like sow that doubt into us that maybe we all thought like, oh, but it's Apple, he's in it for himself, he loves Daryl, maybe this will be a good thing. And then almost to kind of find out more how Lysander has this really sneaky deal with him, and you know, Atalania has all his ships and things like that, that now you kind of start to see now that this may be not as easy of a fight as we thought.
Yeah. Good segue.
Look at you go. You're a pro.
That means we have to lead into Lysander chapter now.
That's right.
He's back. As much as we try and avoid him. I will say that I enjoy that we get the other side, that it's not just one side of the war and we don't know what the villains are doing. As much as, which I mean, and I think the reason we don't like Lysander chapters is because Pierce writes them so well that we
absolutely
we don't like like that's what it is.
Yeah,
like it's
he writes a pompous piece of garbage really well.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I had my number one fictional villain ever, and it's been a long-standing person for like years. I want to say like a long time, at
Is
least
it
20
Umbridge?
years. Yes. It no longer. Yes, but it no longer is. Like if there was a fire and I can only save one and it's Umbridge or Lysander, I'm unfortunately picking her up and all her pig shit and I'm riding out and I'm leaving him there. Because it is, but he does write him well, and I think what part of it is that there was moments within Iron Gold and Dark Age where you have hope for him, right? And so I think that part of this hate that comes from most of, I mean, after this book, 99.9% of the fandom, but up until this point, there was still some Lysander hopefuls. Right, and I think that part of that hate is also disappointment. It's that you could have been so much more. You could have been all these other things. Because I feel like in Iron Gold, we get that duality of him where he thinks he's in the right and he's almost there. It's like you're so close to the message and the point, but you just can't catch it. That this is why he's so loathed now. We get to see him not play any of the choices the right way, and yet still he thinks he's righteous and he's honorable. Even though you just come out slinging whenever you can, and you haven't had an honorable fight yet that I've seen.
No.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
now we get him, and he's being even more pompous. He's holding Spartan games.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, of all the things, this is so, like, there's a giant war going on, so you know what I'm gonna do? Distract by holding, like, a very elite, Spartan games. Like, oh yeah, it's fine. We'll just watch the Olympics in the middle of, like, right? Like, it's so...
Here.
I will say it very much roots. I mean, the whole book is obviously rooted back to ancient Rome and all of that, but it's especially like it so roots the whole thing back, and probably why I continue to forget that it's in the future all the time. I'm like, no, it's ancient Rome with like good technology. Like, I don't know. Like, I forget that it shouldn't just be like the Colosseum they're in, that it should be some high tech, like,
Right.
dome thing that I'm like, no, they're in the Colosseum. It's fine.
Oh, no. I'm definitely under the impression that it's very Colosseum-esque.
They've made it the Colosseum. The Forum.
Yeah.
What's the one that the races were in? It's now like a field in Rome. We're gonna have to Google this. Because the Colosseum
I don't know,
was just
history
for
buff.
battles.
What is
it? I know. I'm sorry.
The Agora?
The Circus Maximus.
Circus Maximus. There it is. Yeah.
Circus Maximus.
Because the Colosseum was just for battles, but the Circus Maximus was bigger, and you would do the races. So that's what they're in. Is the Circus
track.
Maximus. Yeah.
I just thought it was such an interesting chapter to pick up on, right? I think like you've
Hold up.
Yeah.
The first part of the book is called Circus.
Nailed it. It's a reference.
Pierce is not a reference.
Boom.
Okay, all right. There we go. That
We're
makes sense
on
now.
to you, Pierce. We're on
We
to
got
you.
this. We got this. But yeah, I just thought that it was really interesting. I was like, of course, we're gonna pick up with Lysander, and he's holding a race, and he's doing a parade, and he's, acting like he's this big thing and he has like a little moments where he realizes he doesn't have anything else but this. Like right now, he's not the one fighting the war. He's not the one winning anything. He's only got this, so this has to be epic,
Yeah.
And so I do now, having read the book. I have been trying to nitpick the introduction of certain characters in this chapter to see if I can pick up on any like specifically Roan. I'm like, what can I peep you? Like, what is happening? With certain moments with him, and then we're spoiling, right? Like, we're talking only chapters 1 through 5.
No,
but
no spoilers. That's all we can do.
No spoilies.
So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, keep an eye on Roan. Keep an eye on Roan.
Yep.
I will say it is interesting.
Yeah, he exists for parts of the book.
And he's a character that's there.
It's interesting that Lysander being our only gold that we see, other than, I guess we see on the Republic side, the Society gold.
Yeah.
Of how he does very much intermix with the other colors. Like, the grays he does end up holding in higher. I mean, we saw it in Dark Age with Glarastes. That I would love to know whether or not Atalantia would hold some of the same conversations. If Atlas would, if Apollonius is, who knows what's happening there. He just, yeah. Well, in Apollonius, I think, sees the measure of the man versus the color. Like, he actually almost is Republic. Like, the way he treats Darrow, like,
he'll never admit it, but yes.
But yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
I know.
Lysander's really interesting. He really does lean into the grays, especially. But then we see how much in Dark Age he had trusted Glarastes, that, like, he does really admire the other colors in certain ways.
I think that
some of them, and some of the things that they can do for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think that's the thing.
I think that also it's
That's
also
true.
he can respect them for what they were good for, right? So he can
Yeah.
respect Glorastes because he's a creator, so he can give him enough respect and enjoy him in his field. He'll give him that, like, this is what you do, so I believe in what you're saying, I will give you that. Same thing with the Greys, they know what they're talking about. So he goes as far, but I think that also that just cements his belief in the system. It's like the Greys know what the Greys need to know, and then I will have faith in only what the Greys need to know. They don't need to be a part of anything else. And I think that that's a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
For me and how I take it from him, is that he'll respect you that far, but he still thinks you need to be in your place,
Mm-hmm.
and me in mine. Um,
Right.
and that was kind of the fading of that hope that I had for him, because there was moments where you almost thought he was going to be different because he did see potential or didn't shy away from interacting with other colors the same that other golds might.
Right.
But I think that now you start to see it's all in how he can use it. And I also do like that everybody is afraid of Atlas, because I love to hear the chapter in, like, because Atlas pops up in this chapter and Lysander is literally like it's like his butthole clenched, and I loved
Yeah.
Yeah.
that for him.
Yeah.
And Diomedes shows up in this chapter.
Oh, we love Diamond.
Hell yeah, he does.
Yes, he does. And yet, he's for me, Diomedes had certain moments leading up to this that, starting with Iron Gold, where he feels to me the most of what Gold was supposed to be.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if it had worked, it would be
Yep.
because they had turned out to be like Diomedes. He even knowing Cassius and everything that happened, he still understood that Cassius did what was worthy, and was not given an opportunity, and respect that he had earned after fight after fight after fight after fight that he had. So I think that Diomedes is, and it's why I have this interesting. I find him as a very interesting character because of that, because of the way that he acts and the way that he holds his honor. He's not even happy about certain things with Lysander, and he still feels bad when he first meets up with him in this chapter.
Yeah.
He doesn't give him his hand because he doesn't want to shake it. He doesn't give him his hand because he doesn't think he deserved it.
Yeah.
Leading up to that point. So I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah, Diomedes is. Well, and we have learned of that's how Cassius has got. I don't. Do they say it in Dark Age? I don't think they say it in Dark Age. It's only.
No, not specifically. It's kind of heavily
Alluded
implied,
to.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, in this, we don't get the full story, but we know in Lightbringer they allude to like Cassius got out because of Diomedes.
There's a conversation when it's one of the chapters right before when they have that whole moment where Ari makes the decision that they're going to go save Severo. He kind of has an interesting conversation with kind of how this led up to it, how he had been saved by Diomedes,
Yeah.
and then so there is an explanation better there, and that again just shows you what kind of a character Diomedes is, to be willing to have done that and offered that deal on his own. Just out of respect and acknowledgement.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that of, especially him being in with all the rest of the golds. It's very, well, as you said, like, it's interesting to see all the golds playing each other and how, they all want to get ahead for their own self-interest in all of this. And he obviously stands for the Rim and what is going to be best for his people, but I think it is more his people. I don't think like Atlantia is doing any of the things she wants to do for the people. Lysander thinks he is, but it's not. It's for himself. Right. Or else he would back a different horse, I think. Like, if you're going to do it for the people, you're going to, for Lysander, he could throw himself behind whoever is going to do it. Atlas is out for himself. Like, even Julia Bologna, I forget if she's in this chapter because I skipped this chapter. She's out for herself.
She is mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Mentioned in this She is mentioned in this
She's kicking
chapter.
around. She's kicking around.
But it's because he wants her money.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like
again, that's what he wants. He wants her money.
Her soldiers.
Yeah, that's what he wants. So he wants that backing. So
yeah, but Diomedes, it does feel like he's doing what it is for the Rim, and whether or not that's the Gold Rim or all of the people of the Rim, it's for the Rim versus everyone else. I don't think they really give a fuck about the core. Even though they're all core, they're like, whatever, I want that planet, not that one, and like, whatever, and who cares how I take the planet, because we obviously know Atlas does not care how he takes a planet. He's going to decimate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, it's very interesting to see them all playing together. Oh.
Yeah, that was a very political chapter. It was a very political circus because he has to Lysander's threading this line, right? He's doing things with Apple that not everybody knows about it. He's playing Atlantia with Apple in a certain way, and he's trying to keep them on. He's got this issue with Roan and Galastri. I'm gonna not say his name right.
Larastes,
thank you. Where we have that fight in there, and he's trying to play both of them to keep them in their pockets. Diomedes shows up. Then you have Atlas who shows up. So this is a very political. You kind of get to see how Lysander's planning on playing his cards. And for me, I also noticed how little people respect him. You have Cicero, who promised him he wasn't going to be in the race, and then does it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like, I don't care. You know?
I do what I want.
People respect Lysander as much as Lysander respects people.
Oh.
Yep. That is absolutely true. And it's I'm here to see it. I can't wait for the other chapters. When you guys discuss them. Especially the next one. I'm excited. Whoever's going to be on the next one. That was one of my favorite scenes of the.
Remember who's up next?
I think it's Bond.
Bond. What's up?
Me pull up. Bond is with us for chapters 6 to 10.
Nice.
And then we've got a literal live one.
We will be together in Saskatchewan.
Yep.
We've never recorded together.
It may be totally incoherent.
Oh God, who knows?
But it'll exist.
We don't know how the technology works to record in the same room, but we'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
I know some people we can call who do it often, so we can.
You can also call me if you need
Howler
to.
Pod, Hail Reaper, how do we do this?
There you go.
I'll have to buy a second microphone.
Yeah, I'm not packing my microphone.
That seems fair.
Yeah, I just total off topic. When I am traveling on the most budget airline, Flair, and I am that person that when they're like, so you don't get a carry-on. That costs you $25 extra, and I refuse to pay that. I get a backpack. So I'm going to Saskatchewan for a weekend with a backpack. That's it.
You can do it.
I
promise.
Luckily, she knows somebody who lives in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that I'm going to be like...
Stuff.
Yeah. And when I underdress and I go, I need a sweater, I'm sure he can provide.
Absolutely.
I only have 50 of them.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we actually, I think we have all of our slots filled for recording until December.
Yeah, up until our Christmas break, yeah.
And then the first week of January, because I forget who it was. I think it's Allegro said she was going to do it. And I was like, great, we're going to record on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
She was like...
Yes, it is Allegro.
Because I gave us like a 2-week break, and I was like, for Christmas and stuff. But then I was like, no, we're recording on Christmas Day. That's how this is working.
Nice.
It's actually 3 weeks that we're off.
Oh, sure.
December 20th to January 10th.
I work retail, so I was not going to record or do anything in the 20s. Yeah, and then I went, I want a long break, so it's until January 10th. Because even January 3rd, I was like, it's too early to come back.
Yeah,
yeah, no.
For real.
No.
For anybody who is wanting to get in, we have 2 open slots.
There you go.
At least
I would love to know what chapters
as of right now.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, I'd like to find out.
6165 and 7780.
Hmm.
That's a 4 chapter.
Yes,
What?
there is, because of where the parts stop. There's every once in a while there's a 4 chapter or a 6 chapter.
Because our patrons
Patreon
decided that they wanted 5 chapter sections
and not
rather
natural
than
breaks.
the meticulously broken up natural breaks that Skipper went through and figured out for us.
It was hardcore, but it put us at like 25 episodes.
Guys. Yeah, it was the difference was 18 episodes or 23 episodes.
Yeah.
So we would have had content till summer. Just spring anyway.
Spring. Because I think we now end February, but
yeah, that's fine.
It's okay. We already know what the first episode after Lightbringer is going to be, and we cannot say that
tell
today.
Anybody, though.
But
boy.
It's going to be great.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah. It should be a good few months of content.
Yeah. We're so excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
So many good people from the Baden coming on. I like that we just use that totally to procrastinate from talking about Lysander. But are we done?
Honestly, there's really so little to the Lysander chapter.
That really, I thought I covered it. It really is just, it's all seeds for his other chapters. So whoever catches in the next one, when there's a few more back to back, there's a little bit more that happens, just a big thing that happens.
Yeah, you literally, it's just this one chapter that's this is what Lysander's doing.
Exactly.
This is where he is.
Right. So
how much he still sucks.
I think this was just his setup. This is his Darrow brooding and on the outside of the Archimedes. This was the beginning of where you're gonna go with him, since it was his first chapter. So I think it just set the tone for where he's at and what he's planning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And a reminder that he's still kicking around, I think.
Correct.
And that they're all still kicking around and together in whatever alliances or not, seeing how they love backstabbing each other.
Yeah. It is their favorite pastime.
Yeah. What else are you going to do? Seriously.
Et tu, Brute? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we've got
other Roman things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we have a little bit of time, and we didn't ask you, Prepper, some of the questions that we've asked other people on our show, which are, number one, how did you find Red Rising?
So I found Red Rising from a good friend of mine who's actually now in the den. I brought him into the den, oddly enough. Libretto. He's usually hanging out in the library of Erebos, so that's usually where he's at.
We're talking Friends of Power right now. We're trying to get him.
I am gonna have that.
Yeah. So he and I are a part of a book club, and we've been friends for a while. And he introduced it to me right before, I want to say maybe 6 months before Iron Gold was supposed to come out.
Okay.
And so him and I would kind of, I was reading a lot of mystery thriller at the time, and he was reading a lot of fantasy, and so I would make him read a mystery thriller, and he would have me read a fantasy, and we'd kind of go back and forth on that. And so he gave me Red Rising, and I swallowed it. I swallowed it. I don't even really do sci-fi. My fantasy is Court of Thorn and Roses, Tog, that's my fantasy, or Harry Potter, but not sci-fi. And I swallowed it. I literally just swallowed the book, and I jumped to the next one. And then by the time I was finishing Morning Star, Iron Gold came out.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest mistake of my life was running right into Iron Gold. I didn't get to absorb the satisfaction of the end of Morning Star before being so brutally disappointed. And then jumping into Iron Gold, that anybody who I've recommended these books to afterwards, I was when you finish Morning Star, give yourself a breather. Go read one more book and then come back, just so that you can really absorb it, because I didn't. I literally put down Morning Star, and I went, and hello, Iron Gold. He had already started reading it, and then I surpassed him. I started reading it faster than he did. Yeah, I finished Lightbringer before he did. it's just become our thing. It's like
Yeah.
what's and I am thankful for him forever because a book he told me to read became my personality, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I got into the Red Rising world.
I love that. Yeah.
Yep.
Our howlers are passionate. We try and get all of our friends in.
Yes.
Yes.
I will say it's interesting.
Indoctrinate everybody that I work with.
Yeah. Yeah, he just plays the audiobook and forces them into it. But
I love that for you.
I mean, I think, Crescent, you have more in real life friends in the den than anybody else as well. That you've got the 3 versus I don't know anyone else who like went, here's...
Yeah, that might be.
Because like the Minnesota Howlers became friends after...
Through the den,
reading.
yeah.
Well, not through the den. They had their own thing, but because of Red Rising. So, and that's a few people. It's like because of, and so even Salem only has Mole and Needle as real life friends. Yep. So I think Crescent is winning that battle. But I love that when like people are like, I know this person, and that's how like. Versus for me, it's the opposite of like, I mean, it's hard because I work in a bookstore, so we all read what each other recommends, and then I've gone with coworkers to the signings, but they didn't latch on as much. So all of my Howler friends were because of Red Rising versus introducing them. But I force people to read it at work because that's literally my job.
It is. I anytime somebody tells me what should I read, I buy them a copy of Red Rising.
Ooh, nice.
And I just give it to them. So I've tried to do that as many times as possible. I do have 2 friends in the den. I have Libretto and I have Whisper. So I've got 2.
Okay, so you need another one so that you can match Crescent.
I'm going for it. I'm gunning for it.
Yeah.
I'm gunning for it.
I have a 4th one in the wings.
Oh.
Okay, all right. It's
suddenly,
he just hasn't joined the den yet.
I was going to say, suddenly his partner's going to show up just because he's got to keep his numbers high.
Right?
She's early in Golden Sun, so we got to watch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll get her. We'll get her. There's a hilarious, if you're not in the den, there is, and I don't know if even you saw it, Prepper or Crescent, where Hydro's husband and Summit's husband are both reading for the first time, and on the same day that Summit's husband was reading Morningstar and Ragnar died, so she's posting into Morningstar, my husband just hit Ragnar's death. Hydro almost 10 minutes later is in Golden Sun being like, my husband just met Ragnar. It's like, what is today? What is today with these partners? And I was like, please don't let them talk to each other for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I've gotten my roommates to read the books. They're still behind. None of them have gotten to Lightbringer just yet, but I will keep pushing them. I tried to wait for them. I was like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. You're going to have to speed it up because if not, I got to keep it going. But yeah.
Yeah. My favorite introduction is my brother-in-law, who I gave him Red Rising like early December, and then Golden Sun. I think I gave him both Red Rising and Golden Sun, but I know for specifically I didn't give him Morningstar. So Christmas morning, he shows up at my house, says hi to everybody else. And he's got 3 kids at this point, is the thing to remember. And they were young. Like, it's that time where you're supposed to like, oh my God, the joy of Christmas really exists in these children. And he ignored everybody, went into my room, grabbed my copy of Morningstar, was at least in the room while his kids were opening gifts, but sat in the corner reading Morningstar, ignoring the whole family the whole day. His kids are like, can we go tobogganing? And he's like, yeah, your aunt will take you. Because could cannot be bothered. He's invested in Morningstar.
In his defense, Golden Sun ends on such a horrific cliffhanger. So to have only got him up to Golden Sun and not given
that
him
was calculated, absolutely calculated,
right? Because it's such a like. I had even warned my like roommates and stuff. I was like, when you finish Golden Sun, you're gonna jump right into Morningstar. There is no wait. I was like, you're just gonna do it, and I could audibly hear the "what the fuck," and I'm like, "Yep, okay, you're finished. Go to the
There's Morningstar."
yeah. So I have to say I don't blame him for running straight to Morningstar because I was thankful that I didn't have to wait for the books because I feel for you guys who may have been reading it from the very beginning.
I was stuck. Yeah.
So to have to wait for that's killer. I was thankful I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I will say Golden Sun is definitely the kill. The rest of them were fine, especially Morningstar, UN Morningstar. And I understand this gets back to what you're saying of like that Morningstar to Iron Gold. Like there's a reason why we call it the first and second. Well, we used to call it the first and second trilogy, and now the second one became. But it's like that it's one series, but it really is one trilogy, and then the second,
Definitely. I mean, there's too big of a gap, I think. I was almost. I wonder how Pierce's OCD happened because he normally ages the books with him.
Oh, I know, right?
But like 4 years happened between one and the other, so it must have killed him a little bit because normally
Darrow is older
than Darrow.
He's Uncle Darrow's age. Yeah.
Yeah. So
so tired.
Yes, basically. Well, I mean, he's like he's constantly rubbing his bad shoulder. He's talking about his bad lung. He is an old man that's just really crabby.
Yeah.
So.
And the other question.
Oh my God! So Red God, there's no release date.
We have no release date yet. So okay, so this is what I'll say because I stalked Pierce. Oops. Is
classic Skipper.
He told Toronto at the Toronto signing that they will probably claim it as a December release of next year, but it will be a spring release of probably 2025, is what he told Toronto. That when they announce Red God, to expect a 4-month delay on whatever date that is, but that they will probably claim it's coming out November, December of 2024, and he will make it for spring of 2025. Now, again, that's if he stays on pace of what he's currently doing. That is very... Right. But he said it in front of 400 people. So...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I don't think he was drinking in Toronto like he was
not drinking in Toronto. I know, because he was drinking...
That might be...
Here's a behind in the green room with Pierce, because I was in the green room in Toronto, which is just the staff room of the bookstore.
The bookstore.
Diet Pepsi is what he had in Toronto. So
okay,
slightly more reliable than whatever happened in Tulsa.
That's for sure. I saw some videos. That was wild. Living vicariously through all of you is what I was doing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good time.
The other question I'm going to ask before we let you go is, who's your favorite character?
Mustang.
Oh, okay.
Good call.
Mustang.
Yep, solid choice.
Mustang. She's the goat. I think that she is... she is a horse. But I think that she is the perfect balance of everything. She's both brains and brawn. She is tough and sensitive. She's considerate and vengeful. Not vengeful, but she's cutthroat. I think that she is what I'm always striving to be this person that can kind of weigh choices and make the tough ones when you need to, and know when to turn on and off your emotions to make the right calls. I think that she embodies that for me. I've liked her since the beginning. She was one of my favorite characters from the beginning, and she's just steadily been consistent as a character. She's had growth, not to say that she hasn't had growth in an arc as a character, but I just think that she's been consistent. Mustang is Mustang. You see what you get. And she's never anything less than that. And no matter how many people doubt her or question her or assume she doesn't know what she's doing, she does. Everything is she's 10 steps ahead all the time.
Oh yeah.
100%. And so I just love that about her. And I love to have a character who was the love interest and wasn't a damsel in distress.
Yes.
And I love that she never claims to be, no matter what's happened to her. Even in moments she could have been the damsel in distress, that's not something that is in her vernacular. And so I love that about her. So she's my top. Then there's then the whole gang underneath kind of like switches and moves depending on the book and kind of what's happening, but Mustang reigns supreme all the time.
Nice. Love it. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you so much. Yeah. You are amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We like it. I'm excited, and I can't wait to hear all the rest of them and what everybody else in the den has to say about their chapter section.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting. It was quite the fight this time round of people were like, in August, the moment they read the book was like, this is the section I want. Or like, I need to talk about this character, which is not what we had for our reread versions. I guess this is also technically a reread, but the first 5, everyone is like, yeah, I guess I like that character. This was the one that people are like, give me this section. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
people have capital F feelings.
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning, I wish I had thought about it. I was so excited to just jump on that I was like, I'm in at the beginning. Awesome. And I was like, wait a second. Should have thought about the chapters. I have so many things I would have, but this is also really fun.
You set us on a great path, so we can only go
I hope so.
We're going to succeed from here, so it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Prepper is one of our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
Our patrons kind of get early access to
some things.
Get some things. To kind of, they get asked about stuff first. They get input on directions that the podcast's taking, and they get kind of first dibs on casting calls. Yeah. So if you're looking to get in on it, join the Patreon.
Yeah.
And
you forgot the most important part about being a Patreon member, Crescent. We get your postcards. Hello.
Oh, that's
Some of you do.
Some of us do. I mean, you gotta.
Some of you
gotta. Yeah, some of us. Yes. So look at the tiers, guys, because you too can get a Crescent postcard.
And it has like a novel on it if you get the Crescent postcard. It's got like I don't know what they say. I don't know, but all I saw was one picture, and those look like novels.
I fill up every card because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do with that space? Yeah,
honestly, I had a lot of fun writing them.
That's awesome. We've got 3 tiers. So the $2 tier, $2 US, gets you in. You get to weigh in. You get into. We got a secret clubhouse as of today.
Hell yeah, we do.
Well, we had the thread, and then Salem was like, "Do you guys need a channel?" And we were like, "Yeah!" So in the Howler's Den, we now have a channel for the Patreons that you can only get on if you're a Patreon. So like $2 will give you access to that. They did get to decide how we broke up Lightbringer, opting for the 5 chapters an episode. They do get first come, first serve, who gets to be on it. And that'll be, I think, really fun when we start after Lightbringer and we can do full non-spoilers, looking at, start throwing in who wants to talk about what relationships, what spaceships, what themes, whatever. We can do some deep dives in the Patreons. They'll get first dibs on coming on that. They get to watch us play video games. Crescent really well. Me, I'm really good at button smashing. Thank you very much.
You are.
Like,
you really are.
Fucking believable at button mashing.
I was watching you guys play It Takes Two, or I think it was It Takes Two? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that happening.
Did you see me being visibly shook?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I don't really understand, but like, it's funny because I'll play Horizon Zero Dawn or any of that on like hard. Like I can play, but It Takes Two. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going. When I get ahead of Crescent, you like died at one point. No, you had to like go, and I was like, I'm gonna keep playing. It's like, where am I going? But button mashing, real good at that. So we do those, and you get to come in and join conversation if you want. We had Badger last time Googling how to succeed in a level because we were like,
so
we're
we
stuck.
ended up having a glitch between the two of us. I was doing the thing and the game was not telling Skipper that the thing had been done.
No, and I'm very excited. That one will be posted. It should go up probably Friday Friday. And everyone will be able to see my point of view that it was not working because they're like, shoot the thing, because everyone was watching the live stream. You get to see Crescent's. When it goes live, it's my point of view. It's like, I'm like, there's nothing there. I have nothing to shoot. So there's that. But yeah, so that's the $2 will get you in. $5 gets all of you that. And then a postcard from Crescent every month. He actually makes it to the post office. He's got to start writing his September ones.
Yeah, I got to start writing September ones now.
And then if you are stupid enough with your money to pay for $100, I might consider sending you a postcard. It's probably not going to be filled, and it might not make it to you. But for $100 a month,
it might not even make it to the post office.
I might not even buy the postcard, but I'll consider it. I will have a guilt. You, for $100, can give me the guilty conscience for a month of me going, I should really do that thing.
For $100 a month, there will be a sticky note on my desk that will forever say, send a postcard to your name.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That's post.
Yeah, listen, there's a whole bunch of these that I was supposed to give out for the Iron Gold Tour. They say Summon the Howlers. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yep.
Summon the Howlers, the Iron Gold Tour of 2018 was supposed to give them out. I did technically have them if you came and talked to me, but very few people did. So then I had 50 of them left over that I've just been holding on to. And then last January said I was going to send them out to people in the den. And only if you were lucky enough to find me during HowlerCon in my hotel is the only way you got them. And then I had a whole bunch that I had written out envelopes to, like, sorry, Checkmate. I wrote out an envelope with your name on it. You never got one because I never saw you in my hotel unless it was the pool party. So they came back out of the envelopes today, and I have a whole bunch of them again. Where they're going to go, you now have to show up in my house for them.
You know what? It's like a treasure hunt. You just never know when you're going to get something. But it can happen. Yep. You never know.
Yeah.
It's the risk.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, for $100 a month, you can give me a guilt trip is what you can give me.
There you go.
Honestly, potentially worth it.
Might just be.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so that is our chapters 1 to 5. Thank you so much, Prepper, for joining us. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yep. Thanks for coming
along. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anytime.